February 10, 1:06 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 7.
Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness.
Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night.
Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. Ist ja auch nett von Morgan. Ich meine, Iris ist immerhin noch ihre eigene Tochter. Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay? Yes. You have a problem with that. But don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, tried. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules.
Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well.
To kill Maya? Could it be true? Ja, ergibt ja Sinn, ne? Okay. Da habe ich jetzt keine Contradiction gefunden, also pressen wir mal rum. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan.
Huh. Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fay the master of Kurain. She's a cold, twisted woman. Well, you're one to talk. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan, huh?
A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us.
You and your twin sister, Iris.
That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. Man, wie nett.
You mean Iris?
Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible.
The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Ja, Dahlia als Lügnerin war anstrengend, aber wenn sie die Wahrheit sagt, ist es... Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. She misspelled sluttiness. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. Maya would have to die, but why? Ja, das ist ja wohl klar. For her bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master, the remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. Ja, echt mal, warum versteht Phoenix das jetzt nicht? Da kommen wir nur sofort drauf. Dass Morgan Fay möchte, das war doch schon bereits der Plan am Anfang von Teil 2. So ähnlich, da sollte Maya ja auch hinter Gittern landen, damit Pearl Master werden kann. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad you still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fey as well. How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. You? You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was to follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead and there's nothing any of you can do to me. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin. On Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart.
Naja, die Haarfarbe ist anders, ne?
If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it.
And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini.
I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night.
Der Plan war also eigentlich, dass... klar, eigentlich war ja gedacht, dass die Schwester Bikini nicht auf einmal abhaut wegen ihrem Rücken, sondern da bleibt. Und dann hätte das wahrscheinlich ganz gut funktioniert. Dann wird auf einmal Dahlia gechannelt und bringt Maya vor Sister Bikinis Augen um, rennt dann irgendwie mal kurz weg und dann ergibt sich der Rest.
But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber?
You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway.
You think the plan was a success?
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead.
Was?
No, the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Fey.
That's absurd.
Maya is just... She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny. Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivety and your pathetic faith in other people.
I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me, why?
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction.
What did you say? This woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now, what my goal was? Nö. Lass hören. Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey.
Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious.
So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan in her plan so she could accomplish her own goal.
All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge.
Ah. Vielleicht Revenge on Mia? Weil Mia ist auch am Schluss daran schuld gewesen, dass sie hinter Gittern gekommen ist. Und wenn sie Maya umbringt, ist es eine schöne Rache an Mia.
Revenge? Looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Ja, Mia ist auch tot, aber das zählt hier ja nicht so viel, ne? Ich meine, in ihrer kranken Welt ist es wahrscheinlich trotzdem noch eine Befriedigung, die Schwester der Person zu töten, die einen hinter Gittern gebracht hat und auf den, ja, auf den elektrischen Stuhl, wollte ich gerade sagen, aber sie wurde ja gehängt. Den Stuhl eben zurechtdrücken. So. Ich nehme mal an, ich weiß nicht, was Phoenix gerade meinte mit I have to present that piece of evidence, weil ich würde jetzt einfach hier Mia präsentieren, weil mir jetzt auch nicht einfällt, wie ich das anders sagen kann. Aber das mit Revenge war ja gerade sogar rot markiert. Das wird wahrscheinlich darauf hinauslaufen, dass es ihre Rache dafür war, dass Mia sie hinter Gittern gebracht hat und zur Todesstrafe. Okay. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. Oh, okay.
You wanted to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. I saw I knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible, was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey.
As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh? What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you there's not a thing you can do to me. That night. At about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon-warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was at least Junim who channeled her after all. Moment, was? Elise Junim hat die gechannelt? Aber warum? Hä, was? Hä? That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. Wobble, wobble, wobble. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back.
What did you do then?
That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... Oh, not toll. So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean, no clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed? At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it. Du siehst aber ziemlich gesund aus dafür. And that's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. Das heißt, Elise Junim hat Dahlia gechannelt? Aber warum würde sie das überhaupt machen? Hat sie vielleicht den Brief von Pearl gesehen und sich gedacht, sie channelt jetzt Dahlia, um das zu verhindern? Hat er dann aber auch keine volle Kontrolle über Dahlia? Ich meine, es würde immerhin erklären, warum die Elise dann tot war, oder? Wenn Dahlia in Elise Körper Maya angreift und Maya zurücksticht.
It stops.
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness.
You were at the sacred cavern?
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow, I had been trapped in there.
But how did you wind up in there?
I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead, and I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself.
For a ghost, you're one tough cookie.
I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you, huh?
I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern?
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible, but it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who?
Could it have been Maya?
I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge, so I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern.
That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy. Dann war die das vielleicht.
Still, I finally managed to remove the lock, but I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flies had already started to gather.
The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct?
Naturally, I couldn't go out, so instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped, but just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself.
The real Iris.
She said she had come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation.
Ah.
And I locked her away in my place.
Scheiße, dann ist die da jetzt noch drin. Oh, Kacke. Und deswegen waren auf einmal 5 Schlösser. Und sie hat dann auch noch so getan, als ob sie hart daran arbeitet, die Schlösser alle wieder zu entfernen. Das war dann wohl auch nur Bullshit.
I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan had succeeded?
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fey.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
Yeah, but I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was Misty Fey, the picture book author.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fey. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is?
Matricide. The sin of killing her own mother.
Ah. No way. Well, that is certainly messed up. Now that I think about it.
Order in the court. What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fey. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fey's life was none other than your darling little Maya. Ridiculous. That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is the so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Fey has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River, where else?
Eagle River.
Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. Mann, das ist ein lauter Fluss. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny? Ist das Godot's Telefon? Das ist immerhin sein Theme.
Oh, oops. Sorry, that's my phone.
What kind of ringtone is that?
Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important?
They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great. What about Maya?
There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey?
It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Ja, klar, ich meine, ergibt doch auch Sinn. Das war die Justizbehörde, erst entlassen. Genau. Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. Ja, eben. So, what about Maya? Where is she?
There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern.
No, it can't be. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No.
It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Dunham, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River.
It can't be. Huh.
Tried. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, no matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Huh? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge.
Da ist doch gar kein Wasser. Stimmt. Warum habe ich da nicht dran gedacht? Wo ist jetzt die dumme Karte? Da. Auf der Seite ist kein Wasser. Auf der Seite kann man sich nicht ins Wasser stürzen. Außer man geht da ganz oben irgendwo hin. Aber ich meine, selbst da heißt das braune Zeug wahrscheinlich, dass da nicht direkt Wasser ist. That's right. That's where she jumped from. Ja, dann hätte sie aber halt zersplittert da unten rumgelegen.
But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there.
Vielleicht ist es auf die Fresse gefallen. Ich glaube, das ist schon ziemlich tief. Also wenn man da runterspringt, dürfte man schon tot sein.
Also wenn man auf den Felsen da knallt, meine ich.
What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, try it. Just relax and think through the whole thing again.
So it's impossible. Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River?
Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Faye threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim?
Ja, die Karte wahrscheinlich. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness.
What did you say?
11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf.
Oh, you're right.
She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo.
So you finally figured it out.
You... No!
Order!
You're just playing with me. Maya Faye's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yes, just a few minutes ago, you idiot. Maya Faye wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We know now that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River.
Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities.
Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be.
What? What is this one possibility you're talking about?
Oh shit. Natürlich. Denn immerhin muss ja irgendwer... That's obviously a bluff. So where is her dead body then? Finally. I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? She is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What?
Maya Faye's here? You say that she's here in my courtroom?
Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood.
What do you mean?
Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne?
Well, why that's obvious.
It's Pearl Faye, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit.
Oh shit.
Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct? It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. It was someone who called you before she could. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Faye is gone. There's only one possibility left. Das wird auch erklären, warum sie in der Sacred Cavern wieder aufgewacht ist.
Come on already, I can't stand the tension.
Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be Maya Faye. What?
But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal.
She said that her goal was to kill Maya Faye.
Yes, that's right. But if Maya Faye channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her...
Well, Gramps, what would happen?
Could it be...
It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor.
Well, I don't. What are you going on about?
What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. Das ist eine ziemlich coole Idee. Scheiße, die will mich umbringen. Dann channele ich sie einfach, damit niemand anders sie channeln kann.
To protect herself from me?
Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura Temple was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide?
You mean that's when she channeled me?
All this time you thought you had been channeled by pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you.
No.
Don't say that. You're saying that Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little wobe.
Maya Fey killed herself, isn't it obvious?
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya, the only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple.
I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that.
Vielleicht hat die Mutter geholfen? Aber ich meine, Also verstehe ich das jetzt richtig, dass erstmal Elise Dynim Dahlia gechannelt hat? Im Kampf zwischen der Elise Dahlia und Maya hat Maya es dann irgendwie geschafft, die Elise Dahlia tödlich zu verletzen, so dass Elise gestorben ist und Dahlia wieder weg war und hat dann ganz schnell selber Dahlia gechannelt. So verstehe ich das jetzt.
Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea?
Well,
Me, of course.
the fuck are you doing here? How did you even... Mia?
What the?
Mia Fey.
It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh?
So it's true. It was you.
Yes.
Huh. You're something else.
But what? What are you doing here?
That hair. It's pearls, right?
Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden, and then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey.
Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you.
She did? Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed.
Then what the fuck happened?
When she woke up, she was in the training hall.
That's when Maya decided she needed help. So she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do.
She did that? I can't believe it.
Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear.
And that was?
I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean?
It was a race against time, so I wrote down two things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived.
So it was Maya who put that lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those two things?
If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearls?
Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother Morgan Fey's instructions.
If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
So that's how it was.
Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey
To kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you? I won't forget this.
Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure.
Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say?
What do you mean by another?
Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes. Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure.
What? How dare you?
Well, 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping, your very first crime, you got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... Oh. After Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed.
Shut your mouth. That wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman.
And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... You wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny.
You, wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face.
And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you.
Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Gollum.
You spinster.
I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death.
True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me.
What? What did you say?
Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead.
What about it?
Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever.
That's very true, Dahlia.
And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. Oh, damn. And for you, there's no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burned to a crisp.
You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you?
It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Oh God. Holy shit.
I'm not ready. Not ready to go.
Motherfucking Maya is
Back. Nick, sis.
Huh. Holy shit.
Now then, I assume you are the real Iris.
Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern.
I must say you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne?
If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from.
It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems.
It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again.
Uh-huh. Your Honor?
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Kurain channeling technique.
Isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult?
I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench.
Das glaube ich dir sofort. Ja, zumindest im Ace Attorney-Universum.
And in all that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Never thought of it that way.
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Huh? Was denn jetzt?
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Goodall?
This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What?
Try it. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony.
Huh? The Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right.
The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia.
Elise Dunham, no, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it.
This isn't over? Jetzt wo er sagt.
Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence.
No way.
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed?
Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor?
Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes.
You mean Maya? She can't testify after what she's just been through.
We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, try it. I've got something to say to you, so listen up.
Okay, what is it?
I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you.
You've got some nerve.
But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess.